Welcome to Camp 3 News with myself, Ant, and the fabulous and the most amazing Debbie Evans, my new best mate. How are you doing, Debbie?
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, and well. I've had a bit of a weird week, actually. I mean, been feeling a bit woozy. I'm not sure if it's something to do with the solar eclipse, or perhaps it's the new Chinese New Year fire horse, or maybe it was because my son passed his driving test. Yay!
Congratulations.
Thank you. I think it was more of a relief for me than it was for him, actually. He passed the test and I passed out. There you go.
I know. Well, you got to look after yourself, though, Debbie. I mean, we're in trying times, and it is exhausting most of the time looking into the stuff we look into. And we'll try and get through a bit of this today, as we always do every Friday. And we can't not start with the big news that happened yesterday. And if we bring up some of the headlines that you sent me, we can have a little bit of a chat what's been going on. So Andrew was arrested.
He was indeed, and every single front page today is covering the arrest of Andrew and the King glibly saying the law must take its course. Because for those of you that have been living under a stone for the last 36 hours, Andrew was arrested yesterday at 8 o'clock in the morning on his 66th birthday. How
Convenient.
interesting. Yeah, attended by 6 police cars, I believe. And I also believe it was 666 days since those 2 or 4 horses charged through London, one covered in blood, remember. It's a very interesting day with regards to symbology. But of course, the news was wall to wall, Andrew. Everybody was jumping on it. It was commentary from everybody, literally everybody. And I mean, what can I say except what else was going on in the world yesterday?
I don't think anything happened apart from Andrew getting arrested yesterday, and that's how well a distraction can work. But I mean, let's be honest, it is big news. I think people have been pretty much waiting on some big arrest for a while, but it wasn't the arrest. Or it wasn't the charge, or that they obviously not charged him with anything. He's been set free without charge.
But he's not been exonerated either.
No, the investigation's continuing.
Yeah.
However, it's not what we thought it was going to be, because it was more about maybe passing away some kind of secrecy. But isn't that what Mandelson has been accused of as well? So why has Mandelson not been arrested?
Well, good question. And I mean, allegedly they've both been passing secrets in return, through Jeffrey Epstein, in return for money and favors, by the look of it, over and over again. But 48 hours ago we were saying, oh, Mandelson's home's been raided and the police have turned up at Mandelson, don't see anything going on with Andrew. Well, now we've got the reverse, right? So we've got the police have swooped in on Andrew. All very dramatic, don't you think? Very theatrical. How do people know that these police cars were going to be turning up? I don't know. How are the cameras there? I don't know. But I just think to myself, it was all very theatrical. And do we really think Andrew was carted off to a grim cell, thrown in there on a thin blue mattress? I don't know. It just seems a little far-fetched to me. And it seems to me that he's the scapegoat in handcuffs, because what I've said it all along. And for those of you over the weekend, when my blog goes up, get a chance to read it, because I'm very much concentrating this week on the NHS, because whilst Andrew's being arrested, the NHS is in cardiac arrest.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like everybody look in this direction, but what's going on behind you? What's going on in this country? What is the news that is going to make a difference to yours and my life every single day, with the NHS, with DWP, with driving, with council tax for vans? I mean, come on, folks, these things are happening right under our noses, and yet we're all looking at the Epstein files. And to me, it's a massive distraction.
Mhm.
And then I think, well, when this gets too hot, Trump's just announced, doesn't he, that he's going to release all the alien disclosures. And I mean, I just think, well, that's just have a look over here, while what you should be looking in the opposite direction. So I
Yeah.
think there's a big psyop going on at the moment. And I think there's a lot of drama and a lot of distraction. What thinks you?
Yeah, well, I agree with you. I mean, it'd be interesting though to see if he is charged with anything, because if he does get charged with something, then that could open um, massive floodgates. I mean, do you think that they've been planning or waiting for this because they've stripped him of his titles, didn't they? They couldn't. Could they have arrested? I know that I think he was the first royal to be arrested since what,
Since Yeah,
1647
since
or
was it
something?
Charles the
Charles the First,
First?
yeah. So
Yeah,
could they
yeah.
do that if he was still a prince? I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I mean, we talk about the fact that he's had his title stripped, but actually legally, he's still a duke, and legally, he still is in succession to the throne. So you can't take that away unless you do massive constitutional changes, which maybe they're. I mean, Gordon Brown seems to be a very interesting character in all of this, and he's talking up a lot, but he's also been changing the British Constitution behind the scenes
Mhm.
in the office of Gordon Brown and Sarah Brown, without everybody's looking at Blair, but you need to be looking at what Gordon Brown's been doing. So, constitutionally, Andrew is still in line to the throne. And yeah, Sarah Ferguson, where is Sarah Ferguson? She's disappeared. She's got probably on a jet. People are going to come out of the woodwork, but for me, this is all about Andrew being scapegoated, and he's been thrown under the bus. And the fact that the king was at Fashion Week,
And Princess Anne was at a
a
prison.
prison.
Yeah.
You can't. You know what? When people say to me about the royal family, I say every single one of them is tainted, in my opinion. It doesn't matter who they are. I'm not including the likes of Prince George and Prince Louis and the very young royals. But we talk about the young royals, Harry, William, Beatrice, Eugenie. They're all in their 40s, folks. They're not kids. We might have remembered them being born, if you're my age. We might have remembered them growing up and seeing them standing on the balcony when they were very little and, children. But they're not children anymore. Every single one of the royal family, I don't believe any of them are clear from this, any of them, including Queen Elizabeth.
Well, I mean, Savile was too close to the royal family to dismiss any of it.
They were surrounded. The royal family have been surrounded, it would appear, by paedophiles since the beginning of time. I mean, I don't know how many times we've talked about Sir Lawrence Vanderpost. We've talked about Mountbatten. We've talked about Reverend Peter Ball. We've talked about Jimmy Savile, and Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell. And now you're looking at your immediate family. I mean, come on. They're being surrounded. And where did Prince Charles go for 5 days in the bush, privately, secretly, just alone with Sir Lawrence Vanderpost? What went on there? What went on in the bush? I don't know. But some weird stuff went on going back. I mean, there's so much more, I think, that's going to come out. I believe there's videos that are going to be released, security videos that are going to be released fairly soon. There's been recent photos, I think last night, of Andrew photographed with a toddler. He's crouching on the floor and there's a toddler on the other side of the room, and they're stating that they were playing with a ball. It was shaped like a breast. Well, I'm sorry, but I've looked at that photograph, and technically it could be Andrew with one of his friends there for the weekend playing with their child, and it was an ordinary ball.
And we don't even know if that photograph was last
We
night
don't
or
even know if
whenever.
it's exactly. So things are going to get thrown out, and we're not going to know what's real and what's not real. But what we do know is clearly Andrew, who's a vile monster, don't get me wrong, but he is clearly the scapegoat in handcuffs, as far as I can see. Mandelson next, Sarah Ferguson, I don't know. There's loads of names in the pool, including the head of MI6 at the time, Sir John Sowen, I think his name was. He's been now named as being having dinners with Epstein. So
We send links into the Palantir thing as well. So all this ties
Yeah.
into everything that's happening regarding digital ID and Palantir and the digital prison they're trying to put us in.
Yeah, and all of Andrew's dealings as he was envoy, UK envoy, are all secret. Andrew Loney has been trying to get access to the paperwork and to the documentation for years and gets just stonewalled. So there's a lot to come out. I think there's a lot more going on under the water, as it were. But meanwhile, the NHS is in cardiac arrest and nobody's bothering to even report about that.
Well, we've got a few things on the NHS which we'll definitely get to, Debbie. You know, and we'll talk about your Twitter feed as well, because I mean, if anybody wants to kind of know what's going on quickly regarding the NHS, you've got your finger on the buzzer, and you'll be the first that will be putting things out there.
Yeah, I do.
And I really would recommend that. And we'll go through that in a little while. We'll try and get through a bit of this Andrew thing, because it is a distraction, but it is big news. It's big news that we can't really avoid. And Starmer basically has come out and said nobody is above the law. And obviously, this is a guy that that I don't know the full story, so I'm just going to say I don't know the full story. But there was a link regarding Starmer and Jimmy Savile in the past as well, wasn't there? So I mean, you know, let's say no one's above the law. However, let's play this clip from Starmer.
Yes, anybody who has any information should testify. So whether it's Andrew or anybody else, anybody who's got relevant information should come forward to whatever the relevant body is. In this particular case, we're talking about Epstein, but there are plenty of other cases. It is anybody who's got information relating to any aspect of violence against women and girls has, in my view, a duty to come forward, whoever they are.
And the former Prime Minister Gordon Brown has called on police to interview Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor. You've said he should testify to Congress. Should he voluntarily come forward to UK police?
Well, I think that's a matter for the police. They will conduct their own investigations. But one of the core principles in our system is that everybody is equal under the law and nobody is above the law. And it is really important that that is applied across the board. That is the principle. It's a long-standing principle. It's a very important principle of our country, our society, and it applies. And it has to apply in this case in the same way as it would apply in any other case.
And can we talk about how this is being discussed in Parliament or not? Last year there were calls, you'll be aware, for a debate in Parliament about Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor and his association with Jeffrey Epstein. Do you now think this should happen?
I think there is a debate going on in and around Parliament, and there would be no prohibition on that so far as I'm concerned. I think His Majesty the King took strong action actually in relation to this when he stripped him of his titles, but certainly it concerns parliamentarians.
But a debate in Parliament?
Well,
not around?
Yeah, look, that's a matter for the Speaker, but I wouldn't stand in the way of it. I think it's important that we discuss all of these cases.
I don't know what you think, Debbie, but I find that he talks about nobody's above the law. Mandelson's still not been arrested. There is, I would imagine, even though I can't provide proof, I'm pretty sure people can, though, the amount of corruption that goes along in Parliament. But are they above the law?
Is he? But you know, somebody posted something, and I do apologise. I can't acknowledge them because I can't remember who it was. But somebody posted this morning and said Andrew has been arrested for all of these charges, are very, very serious charges that could potentially give him a life sentence in prison. And yet he was released. Lucy Connolly never got bail. She was detained for a social media post. So Andrew gets released with bail, and Lucy Connolly gets imprisoned and detained without any bail conditions. I'd be interested to know Andrew's bail conditions, if he's got bail conditions.
Yeah, well, I would. Like you say, if he has, I mean, the investigation's apparently still ongoing, isn't it?
Ongoing. Well, it's going to be ongoing. Let's face it, it is going to be ongoing for years. If anybody's waiting to see Andrew behind bars anytime soon, forget it. This is going to go on and on and on and on.
It will indeed. This was the statement from the King, where he's basically said as well that that it needs to be investigated in an appropriate manner and by the appropriate authorities, and the law must take its course. Now, do you think that, like I mentioned before, that they stripped him of his titles, that maybe are they prepared to throw Andrew under the bus though?
Yeah, of course they are. They already threw him under the bus. I mean, just by that statement alone, he's calling him Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, not my brother. It's like, I'm stepping right back from this. I'm distancing myself right back from this. And I'm going to concentrate. I'm going to serve the people. And what a better way to serve the people than go to Fashion Week and talk to Stella McCartney, about sustainability, jolly hockey sticks and all of that. No, give me a break. That was pathetic. The King is, in my opinion, this is my opinion, he is pathetic. He's weak. The whole royal family have known all about this for years and years and years, and they've covered it up and kicked the can down the road, and they have protected him. And he has been allowed, and the others, I believe. I mean, this isn't just Andrew we're talking about in the papers here. We're talking about the Princess Eugenie. We're talking about Princess Beatrice. And let's not forget the Sussexes while we're at this, because that's a nice distraction, isn't it? Away from the Sussexes. Because we've still got the Meghan Markle, Harry debacle going on. Is he going to get security? Is he going to come back to this country? What is happening? The monarchy's in absolute collapse. Collapse.
Could that be by design?
Of course it is. Everything's by design. Everything's planned. Did they know that this was going to happen? Yeah, of course they did. Does anyone believe Buckingham Palace? No. Really? Does anybody believe anything that comes out of any official channel anymore? Really? We're all questioning everything, quite rightly. But do we trust them?
Well, we must continue to question, Debbie. You sent me a clip yesterday, though, and we'll play it. The audio wasn't great, guys, when you're listening in, so you might have to turn your volume up a little bit. But this is quite an interesting piece.
Let me warn you, but too, just very quickly about the audio, because for the first few seconds, folks, you'll listen to it and you think, oh, why are they playing this? We can't hear it, but it does slightly improve.
It does.
But it's very, very telling. So it's only a couple of minutes long, if that. So
I think it's just a minute.
A minute. Just hold on in there.
Okay, let's play it.
And I want to ask you one thing in particular, because you've been landed with it. This nickname. This nickname.
On nickname. Which nickname?
I think it's a Randy Andy.
I'll tell you exactly where that originated from. My second day at public school.
Was it 14, 15 years old?
I'm afraid so. I was unfortunate enough in my early days at Launceston not to realise the rules of the house, which were that you weren't allowed in the girls' house. That's absolutely true, and I was unfortunately caught going through a door in the girls' house saying where did and it stuck. Not many people use it nowadays, but I don't think that it actually fits today anyway.
It's that look, isn't it, that he gives, the up and down look at the end there. It's like, whoa.
It's not funny. I mean, clearly, I mean, Selena Scott back in the day, I mean, you know, people used to say she was the kind of BBC version of Diana, you know, and she was regularly commentating and interviewing royal family. And it was clear I think it was clear from that clip, he was flirting with her.
Of course he
He was
was.
looking her up and looking her down. And, you know, the whole Randy Andy thing, you know, this started when he was 14 at Gordonstown. And now there was applause at the end of that and laughter. But it ain't so funny, is it, now in 2026? That was back in 1980, by the way, 45 years ago.
Yeah, it's not pleasant when you think of the depravity that's linked to him, and we're not here to say that he's done anything, because we don't know. But there's often no smoke without fires, and there's plenty of smoke, and it's pretty depraved stuff that people are reading on these files. And let's not forget, Debbie, what he said in just before the pandemic started in 2020, which was a great distraction to pull people away from Andrew when that came about, because people stopped talking about Andrew. But this is a little bit of a clip that interview that he gave. Obviously, he had issues where he couldn't sweat.
That you're at home on the 10th of March.
Yeah.
She was very specific about that night. She described dancing with you and you profusely sweating, and that she went on to have bath, possibly.
There's a slight problem with the sweating, because I have a peculiar medical condition, which is that I don't sweat, or I didn't sweat at the time, and that was yes, I didn't sweat at the time because I had suffered what I would describe as an overdose of adrenaline in the Falklands War when I was shot at, and I simply it was almost impossible for me to sweat, and it's only because I have done a number of things in the recent past that I'm starting to be able to.
That you're at home on the 10th of March.
Yes.
He could just do that then.
I bet he's sweating now.
I bet he's sweating now. Well, that was on the front page of It's horrific, really, and it's totally embarrassing. Why?
It's embarrassing. It's criminal. It's dangerous. I mean, you know, we have to remember, and I know it's just the phrase, but I genuinely mean it. You know, there are people that have gone through absolute hell and back through all of this. Some of the things that I'm hearing and that I'm reading and that I read in Virginia Giuffre's book are absolutely abhorrent. And you know, we said before last week, we're talking about very young children here.
Yeah, we are.
Very, very young children. So what's been going on, and not to mention the national security questions, you know, putting our country at danger.
Yeah.
Not just children, not just young women or young men or whoever has been trafficked, but we're talking about putting our country in danger on a security level and embarrassing us. What do we look like, the United Kingdom, today in February in 2026 to the rest of the world? Honestly, what do we look like? I dread to think.
Well, things could change. We've got a new party that's been formed this week, and Rupert Lowe has been saying a lot of very things that people would agree with. That, you know, the state of our country, like you say, it's been heading and all over the world, really, it's unrecognisable. But this country, we've talked about this over the past few weeks, the place is unrecognisable, and Rupert Lowe's been coming out with some very good statements recently that you can't disagree with, really. Let's play his campaign trailer. Or did you see that? I presume you saw it. But let's put that out there first, and then we'll chat about Rupert, because I think it's important to talk about this. Let's play this.
In 1997, Britain was in good shape. We knew who we were. We were still one country. Most importantly, the population was stable and immigration was under control. I think the state is bad, and I think the individual is good. I've got belief in the British people, what I call proper Britain. People in this country who are British, who've got genuine concerns about what's happened to their country. I've set up Restore Britain. We must now collectively, but legally, bring the fight to them.
Activation word, Warnington on sea.
What will the British government do to you? 2 words: detain, deport. Take hard decisions and deport. The power of a united English/British people is what's going to change the way we're governed. That's why Restore Britain is so important.
How did you feel when you first saw that trailer, Debbie?
You know what? I probably felt like the majority of other Brits that watched that and went, yes, because it's like, yes, it's saying what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking. It's reflecting the mood of many people that I speak to, that I'm surrounded by, people that have felt homeless politically, have felt that their voices don't count, have felt that the Britishness is being taken out of Britain. And quite clearly, that's the message that Rupert Lowe is wanting to promote. Let's put the Britishness back in Britain. And it's, of course, it's deport or detain. And regarding the migration and the immigration crisis. So it's everything you want to hear, isn't it? It's like your Christmas has come and it's like, yes, at last.
Yes,
But then
absolutely.
you think, but then I'm me, see, and I'm in camp 3. And so being in camp 3, I have to have another look at what is going on, because sometimes it's smoke and mirrors, and what looks really good and tastes really good isn't always good for you. So, and I know you, Ant, have put an article out on camp3news.com about this, and you've said, you know, is this the savior? Is this a savior that we're all wanting? I don't believe that there is a savior coming to help us. I do have, and I know that we'll come on and discuss my concerns with it, but I do have concerns. At first, it was like amazing, and I understand that since he released his inaugural speech, if you like, there's been 60,000 memberships of Restore. Huge, absolutely huge. And the response that he's had has just gone off the scale. And of course, it's in direct conflict with reform. So they're being told, oh, you know, this is splitting the right vote, blah, blah, blah. Nobody's talking about advance. Maybe we'll talk about advance in a minute. But so for me, my initial reaction was fantastic. My second reaction is like, stepping back a bit.
My first reaction when I saw it was I noticed the queue. So it was intentional little change here, Restore to queue. And I thought that was very interesting, because he's recently come out and said we need a Donald Trump in this country, which, you know, the Q movement follows Trump very closely and would say that it's part of the plan and things like that. So I've noticed a lot of people jumping on that straight away as you know, we this is part of the plan, you know, so that you straight away it's a very strong marketing trailer that in different ways.
Churchillian.
Very much so, brings people in. And I spoke to a very good friend of mine the other day who's full on for him.
Yeah, and
full
me.
on, you know, because he thinks this guy's going to do what's needed in this country. And I just said to him, I said, look, please, let's just observe this. Don't get too emotionally dragged into this, because we know the country's in a mess. It's an absolute state. But let's not just jump straight into the first thing that's going to drag us emotionally and direct us in a different way. Because if you look at the article that I put, there are links to some of the companies that he's a director to, one of which allegedly profited and took furlough money during the pandemic, and I think there's reports even that COVID tests were created. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's some of the reporting that I've read. Then there are two other companies that are very closely linked to climate change, one of which is heat pumps, which, no, I'm not saying that's anything bad, that, well, in terms of he can own whatever he wants, but isn't there a conflict of interest here? If Rupert Lowe became Prime Minister and he still had directorships in an eco heat pump climate change kind of company, when they're pushing this on the normal people and we're being taxed to hell and we're being forced into these situations when heat pumps are a load of shit anyway. They're a load of
100%.
shit. Yeah, they're a lot of shit. And so I've got alarm bells was ringing for me. I'm like, well, what's this all about? And Elon Musk has pushed him, who is a transhumanist. And therefore I'm going, is he the hero that people are hoping for? And, I'm not slagging him off either. I'm just asking questions. I'm just saying, let's see where this, because this is going to build momentum. This, for guaranteed, this is going to build momentum.
Huge. It's like a snowball. It's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And the bigger it gets, the angrier that Nigel Farage is going to get. So here are my concerns about Rupert Lowe. And again, I really, on first impressions, I really like him. I like what he says. I like the Britishness of him, the fact that he's a farmer. He's going to stick up for our farming community. However, as you've rightly said, he is saying that Britain needs a Trump. Well, Trump to me is all pro warp speed. Let's not forget warp speed.
Never forget warp
and
speed.
Let's not forget what's being manufactured in the United Kingdom as we speak in the Moderna factory is mRNA jabs, and those mRNA jabs are going to be rolled out to the UK population en masse, cancer mRNA jabs. Now, I'm not the one that's thinking Trump's coming in to save us, so I'm not pro-Trump by any stretch of the imagination. So it concerns me a little bit that Rupert Lowe is pro-Trump. Also, this Churchillian, he's been likened, that the UK needs a Churchillian figure. Well, Churchill, sorry, but there's a few little question marks over Churchill, right? Plus the fact that Churchill described himself as the black dog because he went through periods of depression. So I'm not sure that you really want to liken Rupert Lowe to Churchill. The other big reservation that I have with Rupert Lowe is that I've been watching Advance UK for quite a long time, and I try to stay when I'm talking, I try to stay as apolitical as I possibly can, because I don't think it helps anybody. And then you get seen to be affiliating yourself to one political party. However, Ben Habib, I've never heard really one word against Ben Habib. He's genuinely, I'm a great fan of Dr. Tek Kong. I love Dr. Tek Kong.
I love Tek.
I think he's
Tek's a good guy.
He's such a lovely chap, but so genuine, full of common sense, huge amounts of respect for Dr. Tek Kong. And Ben Habib is a similar kind of a character, and he's very respectful, very polite, very measured, common sense, humble, authentic. I like Ben Habib. And Advance UK have been going a long time, and they've got 40,000 members. This is really good. And they're a political party. Ben, literally 2 days after they got, I think it's 30,000 members you have to have before you're allowed to apply to the Electoral Commission. And 2 days after he got 30,000 members, he was on it. And they are a political party. They've got policies. They've got councillors in place. They've got a committee that through a college that they've set up. They talk to all of their members. It seems it seems there's no difference between what Rupert Lowe in Restore is doing, or very, very little, to what Ben Habib is doing. So at first, when we found out that, maybe all of them were going to come together, people were celebrating. But then I'm scratching my head thinking, why did Rupert Lowe go to all of those lengths to set up his business? Because at the moment, Restore is a business. It's not a political party yet. So why did he do that when Ben Habib is a very humble person and said, look, I've built the chocolate cake. I've cooked it, but I'd like to give it to you. And now you can take charge of it, because I was just happy to be there to build it for you, because everything's in place that Advance have got. They've got the policies, like I say, they've got the councillors. They are a political party. You know where, you know what you're doing and who you're supporting and what they stand for. Whereas everything's all a bit at the moment with Rupert Lowe. So at the moment, restore, reform, reclaim. For me, it's refrain.
I like that. Well done, Debbie. I like that.
Thanks. I quite liked it too.
That was very good. What was I going to say? There's some tweets that Rupert Lowe's put out very, very, very recently. He's put out this morning, actually, Restore Britain will establish an independent commission to review all SAGE communications, predictions and data used to justify lockdown. We will release data and communications unredacted and prosecute anyone who deliberately distorted the data to push a pro-lockdown agenda. A Restore Britain government will review and quash all convictions for non-violent breaches of lockdown rules. Fines will be refunded, apologies issued. We will ensure that nobody has a criminal record for breaking laws that should never have existed in the first place. All very good, positive stuff, but can I just put this out there? Back in 2020, that Rupert Lowe tweeted within the midst of the madness we were at, that proactivity is the only way to get ahead of this virus. I'm sure the figures will reflect this positive position regarding New Zealand having a month-long lockdown. Now, I know people were able to change their minds in that time, but I do have question marks about a leader that in midst of battle is pushing for lockdowns. I have question marks on people like Andrew Bridgen as well, and I believe he's linking up with Rupert Lowe. We've been pushing him, so I think there's something going on there as well. So I've just got questions. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying these guys are bad, good, or anything. I'm just saying let's keep an eye on this, because it's too easy for us to be dragged into this emotionally and going, "You've got my vote," because in the past I've been that person, and look where it gets us. We're not doing very well.
No, and the thing is, at the end of the day, whoever you vote for, whoever you go to the ballot box for, you've got to start asking the questions of, is it rigged? Was it just rigged all along? Does my vote mean anything? And my mother always used to say to me as I was away, you must always vote, the suffragettes, blah, blah, blah. You need to vote. But it's become a joke, hasn't it? Because you don't know if anything's real anymore. So is your vote going to mean anything? But I think with the Rupert Lowe Restore, I can see why millions of people will get behind him. I totally get it.
Yeah.
But I would just say to them, just step back a minute. This is not a political party yet. I'm sure whatever they're doing in the background with the Electoral Commission, that they're on it. But at the moment, they're not. But we'll see how it develops. There's so much news, isn't there? It's everywhere.
Oh, there's so much news, Debbie. I'm just going to bring up your Twitter feed, if that's all right, or your X feed as it is now.
Do.
I think we should, because like I mentioned earlier on, anybody who wants to kind of have the finger on the pulse for anything NHS especially, I would highly recommend you follow Debbie on X. And you've been bringing up a lot of information recently, and some of the big X accounts have been taken without even asking some of your information, which happens.
Do you know what?
We know,
it does cheese me off a little bit, because as you scroll down, you'll probably see that everybody knows by now. People that know me, I listen to board meetings where nobody else bothers. So I listen to the NHS board meetings, I listen to the MHRA board meetings, and I put out the NHS board meetings, and then a very big account, I won't name them, but a very big account, instead of retweeting me, decided to repost it as their own and got millions of views. without any acknowledgement to me. So do follow me, because I do put stuff up. You'll come down to it in a minute. There's there's 2 NHS clips, and I think they're both very, very important clips, because number one, it shows you that the NHS are doing things behind your back. They're not transparent. They're not accountable. And there's one of them. Yeah, there's one of them. And just,
should we play that?
yeah, do.
This is the one where
they're not telling you anything. They're saying that they're talking, what they're talking about is children's vaccination rates and diabetes. But then she says, oh, sorry, I can't say anything because it's not in the public domain. Well, we know the situation with measles at the moment. What are they planning on doing with regarding to children's vaccination rates? Have a listen to what she says.
To come back on a couple of the points, we have taken action on some of the things that are flagging here, so particularly children's vaccination rates, but also the all-age diabetes processes, to strengthen the focus on that within the GP contract. I can't talk about detail because it's not in the public domain for another couple of weeks, but we've noted it and acted.
So we've noted it, we've acted, but we can't tell you about it. Now, there's another piece. This has come also from the NHS board meeting. Now, this is one of the board members who suddenly has this realization that he's not a young man anymore. And what he says is absolutely shocking. So take note.
Louise's point around life expectancy. I mean, it's disappointing to see it reducing the way it has, but have we plotted the key elements of the 10-year plan and what that's going to do in terms of life expectancy? Because this should hit the bottom and then move back up again, I hope, into a better space, because we have lost nearly 2 years of life expectancy, which is a hell of a lot, really, especially for people getting quite close.
You're doing well to still be here.
I don't like the fact that they're laughing at the fact that we're losing 2 years life expectancy.
They're laughing, and you know that was Dr. Penny Dash, you know, the chair of the NHS board meeting. It's not funny. 2 years life expectancy we've lost, and they're just glibly passing it by in an NHS board meeting. And this is information that most people won't go and look for. So I do try, same as the MHRA board meeting. The MHRA board meeting is now up on YouTube, and I put a little clip on Twitter to say you need to trust the MHRA because Professor Anthony Harnden says you need to trust it, and you're in good hands. No, you're not. No, you're not. This is all an absolute pack of lies, and it's deception. It's public deception on a massive scale. What are they considering with children's vaccination rates? Huh? What are they going to do? Are they going to come around and knock at your door? Yes, they are. The NHS will soon be coming and knocking at parents' doors to ask if your children are vaccinated. And if they're not, why not? Why not have it done now? We're here with a team now. This is stuff that's going on behind closed doors where they can't even reveal it in the NHS board meeting. And for anybody that wants to go and see that, it's the latest NHS board meeting that was only published about a week ago on YouTube. And it's there for everybody to hear. Life expectancy, 2 years, Ant.
I know.
2 years.
And they're going on about measles quite a lot, haven't they, lately, Debbie?
Oh, so we've got measles, measles, and the uptake on MMR is really low. Oh, what a surprise. But you know what? Actually, it took me 3 parties before I caught measles. 3. I had a great time going to the pub. Every time there was somebody in my class at school that had measles or chickenpox or something, we would have a party and hope that we'd get it over and done with early. Because let's face it, at the end of the day, you know, 99.9%. That's not an official quote, by the way. That's just me saying it. People get better from measles when you have it when you're a kid. It's not very pleasant at the time, but you get better. So to now say that we've lost our measles status, measles exclusion status, and now we've got cases in Enfield, I believe there's a measles outbreak. Enfield, North London, which is very close to where I was brought up. But now other councils, I think it's Southend and somewhere else, they're all panicking, going, oh, if they've got it in Enfield, we'll get it here. Well, how many measles deaths have there been? I looked at the stats probably about 6 months ago, and I think there was one death in 1 year or something. So, you know, here we go. We're hiding children's vaccination policy now. However, and in my blog, you'll see it. And I think, yeah, I did put it in my blog. And I also put it on X. There is the NHS vaccination program has been published. There are so many vaccines that people need to take, including pregnant women and children. I lost count. I literally did lose count. But they are coming for you. If you think that just because it's spring and summer and you're going to get a bit of a break, you're not. Because the vaccination plan says they're going to give you the information, they're going to invite you, they're going to make sure there's local hubs where you can go and have your local jabs. They're going to check to see if you've taken them up on their invitation or not. And if not, they're going to come around and ask you why not. So there's a huge NHS vaccination plan underway as we speak. There's also allegedly a case of cholera as well. There's a lot going to be in my Debbie's Lounge this week, all on the NHS, and God forbid if you're waiting for a knee or a hip, because there's no cement now. We've run out of cement in the UK, so if you've got a long wait if you're waiting for a hip replacement or a knee replacement. So there's a lot of NHS news, an awful lot going on, and this is what worries me, is that people are focusing so much on Epstein and then maybe the alien invasion or whatever Trump's gonna release or some other big drama, and all the time we've still got Iran bubbling away in the background. We've still got warships on there. We're still kind of on the brink of war, and we've got Chairman Starmer.
Yeah. Chairman
It's
Starmer
not
pushing,
looking good, is it?
looking at Russia as a threat all the time, and yet China seems to be influencing us massively in different areas.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And we've got
there's a
snow
lot
and
going
ice
on.
coming, by the way. Snow and ice, so be careful you don't fall over, because there's no cement to fix you. Just saying. After the rain comes the ice.
But there was a tweet that I saw, and I think you've retweeted it as well. Dr. David Bull, I think it is, because he's deeply worried by the recent rise in measles cases. So should we? I know you don't want to play him, but I'm going to play him for you anyway.
Trigger warning, folks. Trigger warning.
I'm Dr. David Bull. I'm chairman of Reform UK, but more importantly, I'm a qualified medical doctor. I'm incredibly concerned about the rising number of cases of measles in this country. Now, measles isn't something that we've heard a great deal about over the last few years, and the reason for that is we had pretty much eradicated measles from this country. But unfortunately, we're starting to see measles cases coming back in certain parts of this country. And that is simply because parents haven't been vaccinating their children. They haven't given both doses of the MMR vaccine. What I will tell you is measles can be very serious indeed. It can cause pneumonia. It can cause inflammation of the brain and encephalitis. It can also kill children. So the message which I want to get across loud and clear is, please make sure you give your children both doses of the MMR vaccine. Make sure you protect your children against measles.
How much has he been paid there, Debbie, do you think?
Let me go and answer him. Hello, everybody. Please block him immediately. Don't listen to him. Everything he said there, if you go back and watch it, it was measles can. Now, honestly, this to me, this is dangerous. It's as bad as Dr. Hillary Jones, for goodness sake. I mean, I trained with Dr. Hillary Jones. He was bad enough. But now that's reform.
Hillary Jones?
Hillary Jones. But that's reform.
Reform.
He's sounding
Exactly.
Reform, Dr. David Bull.
Refrain.
Bull. What was his name? Refrain. Yes,
refrain.
Absolutely shocking. Absolutely. And yet we've got doctors like Dr. David Cartland,
who's cannot even, his DBS is knackered. He can't get a job. He's been banned from refereeing.
And yeah, I'm sorry, but if I was poorly, it's Dr. David Cartland I'd be ringing, thanks. And he's still a doctor to me. He still did his training. He's an excellent human being, in my opinion. So Dr. David Bull can bull off as far as I'm concerned, because he's not the Dr. David that I'd be calling if I was needing medical attention. Just saying.
Apparently, I was reading as well, Debbie, unvaccinated children could be excluded for the school for 3 weeks if they've been in contact with someone who has measles. So they're not letting this shit lie, are they?
100% they're not. But kind of, you know what? Like when I saw that tweet, I thought, oh, if that was my child, I'd be actually quite relieved they were home from school for 3 weeks, to be quite honest. And if I thought that homeschooling was going to be like homeschooling in my day when my children were small, I'd say that was absolutely fantastic. Homeschool all your children. However, we know from the new education policy coming in that homeschooling your child is going to be a very different affair now. You're going to be monitored, you're going to be watched, you're going to be surveyed, you're going to be tracked. You're probably going to have a camera in your device which is watching you teach your children, and there'll be a record of what you have to teach your children. So if you have to teach your children an agenda that perhaps you don't follow, like the trans agenda, the trans ideology, then you're going to be penalized, or your child will be removed from you and put back into school. Maybe not, maybe even removed from you as a family if they think that you're you are contaminating your child by not giving them the curriculum. So in ordinary days, I would say I think it's quite a relief that you'd remove your child from school. But now I'm thinking homeschooling is going to be a whole different landscape, and parents need to be aware of what might be asked of them and who may be supervising them. It's all very worrying for education. Any parent with a child at the moment, I'm just relieved mine have grown up, but I've got grandchildren that are in the education system, and I'm as concerned as anybody else is at the moment with what they're being taught.
Debbie, someone's asked, what is your new channel, Debbie? So, and you've got your, well, we've got our shiny website, camp3news.com.
Camp3news.com is where you can find loads of articles and bits and pieces. Write as many articles as we possibly can. Some of them are short, some of them long. We've got an amazing new article this week by Dr. Ursula Edgington on 15 minutes cities Shanghai. Do go and look at it. And you know when we're so honoured that Dr. Ursula Edgington has given us an article to publish, because Camp 3 is, as you know, very tiny and we do due diligence. So we're delighted that Ursula's there. I've got my little X channel, but I'm afraid my Word in Edgeways channel, my 7 stories in 7 minutes, I'm afraid I've been locked out of that channel. So I can't actually get access to it or put anything on it anymore. So apologies for that. But I know that Ant and I have been talking about doing a similar format of doing snappy news, because there's so much news. You haven't got an hour and a half to listen to it. You want to hear 7 stories in 7 minutes. So hopefully we'll be able to bring that back in another guise for you via Camp 3. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned indeed. Can I bring up the fact that we're talking about traps, and digital ID isn't going away. Rupert Lowe may celebrate, and others may celebrate that we won and digital ID is going away, but it's not. But it's coming in different ways, as they always do. And this week, they want to protect the children, Debbie, as they've done in Australia, as they're doing in lockstep all over the place, in Canada and various other places. And our lovely government are talking about banning under 16s from social media, which means you would have to prove your age to access your social media account. And they're also on about you need to have identification within a VPN. Now, a VPN is purely used so you are anonymous. So how does that work? It's quite ridiculous, really. So he's basically. Oh, I think this week as well, the wonderful Tony Blair has come out and said digital ID is a necessity for the future. Of course it is, Tony. We've been going on about bloody ID since the 90s. And Starmer has announced Labour will pursue draconian measures to clamp down on internet usage, including a VPN ban. Via his Substack, he said, we will be going to Parliament for new government powers, enabling us to act on the findings of the social media consultation where the evidence suggests we need to. This could include setting a minimum age limit for social media. Unlike the Tories, who took years to pass the Online Safety Act, we will take powers that would allow us to implement a minimum age for social media in a matter of months to prevent kids from accessing harmful social media, restricting specific functionalities that are detrimental to kids' well-being and keep them hooked to the screens like endless scroll or autoplay, limiting VPN access for kids to make it harder for kids to get around age limits of services or certain functionalities. But yet, they are okay with 4 5-year-olds saying they are a certain gender. So let me work that one out. A kid can't get on social media, but they can choose what gender they are.
Trans toddlers. Check out my blog this weekend.
Mate, that makes sense. It just
and don't forget the mRNA. You know, Chris Whitty comes out and says, "Oh, you know, you've got to do this, you've got to do that, and this is we recommend this for your child." And yet he's still rolling out mRNA jabs. We're still rolling them out, you know, folks. It's everything's harmful. Nothing makes sense anymore. Nothing. Trans toddlers. Do you know what your grandchild or your child is being taught at school? Do you?
No. It's a real problem. It's a big problem.
But this is where parents are going to be a thing of the past, and this is where I've been talking before about it. Maybe I'll write a little article over the weekend about allo parenting, which is we're going to live in a society where children they're raised by the community. They're going to be born in some incubator somewhere in an artificial womb. They're not going to have a mummy and daddy or genetic siblings. They're going to be born artificially, and they're going to be looked after by a community, not parents. So allo parenting. Goodbye mummy, goodbye daddy. We don't need mummy and daddy anymore. It's terrifying.
It's absolutely mental. Speaking of mental, can I bring up a little clip of Alex Karp? Alex Karp, by the way, guys, if you don't know who Alex Karp is, he is the CEO of Palantir. And I mean, these guys have got major influence in the world right now.
He's quite an eccentric character. I remember seeing him, I think it was at the WEF, I can't remember where it was, and he was jumping up off his chair and he was moving around. He was very, very interesting gentleman to watch.
Oh, he's
very
interesting.
Dangerous.
He's very
Dangerous.
interesting to watch, yeah. But I would agree with you completely. Very, very dangerous.
Really dangerous.
This might be an off-the-cuff kind of comment, but let's have a listen and let's see what people think of what he says here.
You need a higher purpose, and I also think you often need a lower purpose. Like the higher purpose for me.
What's a lower purpose?
Well, I love the idea of getting a drone and having light fentanyl-laced urine spraying on analysts who tried to screw us. So that's my lower.
I mean, what can you honestly say? These people, you know, that guy has got access to every single bit of NHS data, DWP data, Ministry of Defence data, DVLA data, you name it. He's embedded himself. Do you trust him? Do you trust that man to have your data? And yet people say to me, "Oh, I don't mind who has my data." Well, you should.
It's and allegedly, I don't know how true it is, that Palantir was hacked by AI bots.
Oh, have you heard about the new AI social media platform where AI bots talk to AI agents?
Talk to AI agents.
They talk to
and
each
no
other.
humans are allowed in it.
No, humans are allowed in.
No, I know. We'll have to do a piece on that alone, I think, because that's quite a big piece. You know, where they're literally laughing at humans.
Oh, yeah, humans are not allowed. Humans are not allowed. This is a brand new platform. People, you see, and this is it. This is just what we've been saying, isn't it, Anne, all the way through. We can talk about Epstein till we're blue in the face, talk about Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor till we're blue in the face. We can talk about restore, repair, refrain, whatever you want. But at the end of the day, these things are going on underneath our noses right now. It's scary.
It's very scary. There's a few things that happened in the country as well in terms of UK politics, and we're kind of out of time, so I'm just going to skim through a few things. they're all. I find politicians insane. They're all nuts, but in particular, Ed Miliband.
Oh,
I think he's crackers.
mad.
I think he is. But yet you
Mad.
must, if you've not already seen this, just listen to what he has to say here. This guy, I don't know. He's with what's he called? Gavin Newsom. He's a bit of a strange character as well, but he talks about the weather. Does Ed, obviously,
And solar panels.
of course, he's Mr. Energy, isn't he? So let's play what he has to say. It's only a few seconds.
Growth is our mindset. California is the fourth largest economy in the world, about $4.3 trillion. It's a point of deep pride. Low carbon, green growth.
We believe in working together to tackle shared problems. We don't think we're weaker from doing that, we think we're stronger. In recent years, we've watched from afar the horrifying scenes of wildfires in California. Here in the UK, we've suffered from floods and droughts and 4 heat waves we experienced last year. This partnership is about a shared recognition that the climate crisis is the greatest long-term threat that our populations face. You know, you're an incredible...
4 heat waves, Debbie.
Oh, floods. Da, 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 da. Yes, Ed, because you're causing them, Ed. Because you're engineering them, Ed. You're planning them, Ed. And what you're doing, Ed, is that you have starved the United Kingdom, Ed, the whole year so far of light. And I'm not joking. You know, we have got a blanket of grey cloud constantly. And people say to me, you know, a very, very dear relative and friend of mine have moved down here just recently and horrified by, does it always rain in Cornwall? Does it always rain? It does rain quite a lot in Cornwall, but it isn't just Cornwall. This is the whole country is under a cloud of grey.
Yeah, where's the sun, Debbie? Where is the sun?
It's above the clouds, right? So think about it. The UK government want to put solar panels on all. We haven't got sunshine. And if we haven't got sunshine, we haven't got vitamin D. We are being deprived of light. We are being deprived of sunshine. This is all deliberate. Clouds are not straight lines. Sorry, rant over.
4 heat waves, he said. 4 heat waves. I don't remember any heat wave last year.
I blinked. Honestly, these people are mad. They're completely and utterly mad. Bullshit comes out of their mouths. It's just regurgitates out of their mouths. Whatever they say, just know that the opposite is true because it's lies. In my opinion, and this is my opinion, but it's just complete and utter lies.
It's mad.
Go roll under a stone, Ed.
They are taking the mick out of us. They're having a laugh at us.
Time. Do you know every single new home in the UK now legally has to have solar panels? And yet wasn't it the UK that was saying that they were trying to dim the sun? Quite clearly they're trying to dim the sun. But you know what, folks? The sun is up there and there is blue sky above the grey cloud. It's just like we're not being allowed to go past that grey cloud.
Yeah. It's
Morgellons. Oh yeah, don't start me on Morgellons.
So in other news this week though, Speaker Lindsay Hoyle. Now he lives very close to me and he's in Chorley. But he doesn't act like a normal Chorley type person, Lindsay Hoyle, because he's had a portrait of himself commissioned that's cost the taxpayer £51,000.
No.
They're not normal, these people.
No.
They're not normal.
It's just like, how can they justify it? I mean, you know, quickly going back to Andrew was having women arriving. The taxpayer was paying a lot of this.
Yeah.
And how they were being ferried in and out of Buckingham Palace. The taxpayer's paying for this. All of these portraits. What on earth? Who's interested? Who is interested? I'm not.
No.
And yet we've got how many vaccine injured that haven't received a penny piece, that are literally have lost absolutely everything. And you know, while you're at it, Rupert Lowe, let's talk about the vaccine injured, shall we? Because I'm not going to forget those that are vaccine injured and vaccine bereaved and medazzalammed bereaved as well.
Can't ever forget this, Debbie.
We mustn't forget, but people are very quick to, though, aren't they? They're very quick to.
They're very quick to forget, but they're also very quick to ignore.
Yeah.
Because we've talked about this. People want an easy life, and I get it. I don't want shit on my doorstep either.
No.
But the shit's on my doorstep, so what am I going to do about it? You know, it's like in 2020, it was very, very clear to me. You've come for my kids.
Yeah.
You've come for my kids' futures. Now, I'm only able to do so much, but if we all do so much, surely that's something.
It really is. It really is. But then you see, this is where the whole restore thing comes in, and this is where people are just like, it's like a breath of fresh air that they were desperate for. It's like they were drowning, and then all of a sudden somebody gave them a snorkel, and they could breathe for the first time. So I get that everybody's going to go, yes, yes. But I would just say to people, just watch. You know, when the jab first came out, I said to people, look, if you don't believe me and you still are intent on going and having it done, just do me one favor, stand back for a bit and watch. Just see what happens, see how it unfolds before you go in there all guns blazing. Just step back and see how things unfold. And you know, for me, Advance, they've got history. I've watched them unfold. Restore is a whole new ball game. Nobody knows, you know, how it's going to play out. So I would just say to people, for everything at the moment, whatever you're reading, whatever you're listening to, just open another pair of ears and try and look at it from all angles. Just step back before bouncing straight into something, because not always. Sometimes, what is it? What's the saying? More haste, less speed, or something. What is it? It's just stand back, discern. We all need to discern right now.
Discernment's very important. Very, very important. We're out of time. It's been a great chatting to you, as always. I love chatting to you, Debbie. And we'll be back again next Friday at 2 p.m. For those that have joined us for the first time, we always try and end on a bit of humour, because the world's, it's not a great place at the best of times, and these topics are really not the best topics to discuss, and we always try and bring some light-heartedness to the messages that we're bringing forth. But there's been, you know, talks of potholes this week. Did you see the potholes? So we end on the potholes.
Let's end on the potholes.
Okay, guys, nice that you came.
Keep
We
smiling.
really appreciate that you've come and watched us today. Please like, share, subscribe, help us get the word out. We're doing this for the love of it and the importance of it. Join camp3news.com, head over there, and please just hit the subscribe situation there on the newsletter. It's free. We're going to try and keep people up to date on things. And we'll do the best we can, Debbie. There's only two of us.
100%. There's only two, and we do it for the love. We don't ask for anything in return, just for a share, just for a like, comment, feedback. Tell us what you want us to talk about. We'll try and oblige.
Much love, everybody. Have a great weekend, and just watch out for the potholes.
Keep smiling.
Keep smiling.
Potholes are becoming a real problem in the UK. Except when that happens.
We're live at the scene of a pothole so big, even these invaders are trying to cross it.
Sky 7 News here reporting on the mysterious disappearance of care home residents. Oh, Granny. We're here investigating reports of a dolphin living in one of the UK's potholes. Locals have reported recent sightings of the Loch Ness Monster in this area. Bloody hell.